Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ronald Couming, and I want to welcome you to the Success Secrets Revealed interview show. I wanted to create this show so we can help business owners and entrepreneurs, much like you, learn the secrets of success from some very successful people out there. And my first 2 weeks, I've been blessed to have some incredible people come on the show, much like today, we're blessed to have with us Sharon Lechter. Sharon Lechter is an entrepreneur and author, a philanthropist, international speaker, licensed CPA, charter global management accountant, and most importantly, a mother and a grandmother. A lifelong education advocate, she is the founder and CEO of Pay Your Family First, a financial education organization regarded as a global expert on financial literacy. Sharon has served as a national spokesman and presidential advisor on the topic to presidents. In 2016, Sharon was appointed by Junior Achievement as a JA University of Success founding chancellor, and in 2017 as Arizona's chairman for the 2020 Women on Boards initiatives. In 2019, Sharon was appointed by Arizona State Treasurer Kimberly Yee to the Arizona Financial Literacy Task Force. In 1997, Sharon Lechter co-authored the international bestseller Rich Dad Poor Dad and has released 14 other books in the Rich Dad Poor Dad series. In over 10 years as co-founder and CEO, she has led the Rich Dad company and brand into the international powerhouse that it's become. In 2008, she was asked by Napoleon Hill Foundation to help re-energize the powerful teachings of Napoleon Hill as the international economy was faltering. Sharon has released 3 best-selling books in cooperation with the foundation, including Think and Grow Rich, 3 Feet from Gold, Outwitting the Devil, and Think and Grow Rich for Women. In addition, her newest title, Success and Something Greater, was released in September 2019. She has also been featured in 2017 movie, Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy, and the 2019 national TV production, World's Greatest Motivators. So I want you to help me welcome Sharon Lechter. Sharon, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Ronald. How about you?
Excellent. I just got done reading your bio, introducing the show, and hopefully I did you justice.
Absolutely. You probably could have done an abbreviated version. I've been around a long time, so there's a lot to say.
I hear you. And all positive. I mean, you've done some tremendous accomplishments throughout your life. I mean, speaking for being on 2 advisory panels for presidents, and let me put you over here. On the 2 for presidents, as well as everybody has heard of the Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then Napoleon Hill second. You've done phenomenal accomplishments throughout your life.
I've been very blessed. I appreciate that.
And we are blessed to have listened and learned to you. I did just read your bio, and I probably, like I said, may not have done it 100% justice. I did go to school in Boston, and the reading, writing, and arithmetic is subject to questions, but only kidding. Can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do and how you help people and companies and stuff?
Well, I grew up in a very lower middle class home. My parents were very big entrepreneurs. We lived in a little tiny house between my dad's used car lot and my mother's beauty shop. We had rental properties that had to scrub out between tenants, scrub the bathrooms, and we had orange groves. And I swore I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I wanted to become a sophisticated professional. Now, I was the first generation in my family to go to college. I got my degree in accounting, went off to Atlanta to become that sophisticated professional, and was one of the very first women hired in public accounting in my firm, and was on a really very fast trajectory to partner and doing very well. But about the ripe old age of 25, I said, I'm working awfully hard. I'm going to work this hard. I should be working for myself, not everybody else. And all of a sudden at 25, my parents started looking a lot smarter. So for you parents out there, there's hope when your kids get older. But So I made the decision to leave public accounting with a client and a company, and that started my entrepreneurial journey, and I've never really looked back. So I started a woman's magazine, then I started the first talking children's book and built that with the Inventor as a global brand around the world. And that's back in the late 80s when there was no internet, there was no Amazon. It was wonderful. We did partnerships with Disney and Warner Brothers because we had the very first technology that children had in their hands. And so we need parents to trust us. So we aligned with companies that parents already trusted, and that helped us really explode as a global brand. Sold that company in 1991 and moved here to Arizona. And in 92, my oldest son went off to college and got into credit card debt. He'd gotten to college and had free pizza, free money, tables greeting him, free t-shirt, free money. And so like a lot of young students at the time, parents didn't even know they had credit cards. And so he came home at Christmas time, mired in credit card debt, asking us to bail him out. And we haven't always made the right decisions, but that one we said no. It took him a long time to get out of debt and to repair his credit. But he's as passionate as I am now about teaching people about financial responsibility. And that was December of 1992. And that's really when I dedicated the rest of my career to financial literacy and financial education. So it's my passion, it's in my heart. All that other stuff that you just read was, how I've employed my passion. And I thought Rich Dad was my legacy, certainly. Fast forward a few years from 92, 96, I met Robert at the first beta test for the board game Cash Flow. Because of my background, I volunteered to help him to commercialize the game. And during that process, he told me he wanted to charge $200 for it. I said, maybe we should write a brochure that kind of shares that philosophy. Most people don't understand that Rich Dad Poor Dad was actually written as a marketing brochure for the game. And of course, it took on a life of its own. And 15 books later, 10 years later, we were the #1 personal finance brand in the world. But it was incredible viral success before Amazon, before the internet, because people would read it and find value and share it with others. So it was the right message at the right time. So fast forward a few years, as you know, I decided to leave Rich Dad, and that's when I got the call from the president and from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. So I share that story because sometimes you have to close one door for other doors to open.
Yep.
And certainly what's happening right now, some of us have had doors closed on us. And so
fast and hard.
Yeah, instead of lamenting that, let's say, okay, so what new doors can I open in my life?
Yeah, excellent. I mean, one of the things that I've really found this week, I've had some tremendous guests on, and Frank, who lives in Arizona with you, Frank Shankowitz, he was on yesterday, and he's gone on to do some tremendous things as you have. But one of the things that I find with him, and certainly with you too, is, such humble beginnings. You know what I mean? You had such humble beginnings, but yet you went on to have tremendous success. And also in your early years, you were in a male-dominated area. Am I correct? So I mean, you've really done very well. And I like the fact that wasn't there a problem with college kids and credit cards? And were you part of the process that kind of because that's a great way for credit card companies. Kids are usually living at home for most of their lives. Then they go to college. That's their first chance at freedom and liberty, but a lot of them don't have those skill sets. So they get the credit card and they think, no big deal, I'll pay it off a little bit over time. And it can get them in debt. And then the credit card companies have them forever.
Absolutely. Well, when I was invited to be on the first President's Advisory Council by President Bush, and also served Obama in 2009, the Credit Card Act was passed. And in that act, it prohibits credit card companies from soliciting college students on campus. So people who've gone to college since then have not had that same experience. I can't take credit for the actual bill, but I can take credit for being a very squeaky wheel and supporting it. Nice. Because they can't solicit on college campus or within 1,000 feet of a college activity. Now, kids can still get credit cards, but now they have to either prove they can repay it on their own or have a co-signer. And so at least there's a moment that stops and they have to think about it, not
Yep.
just sign here and get free money.
Yeah, good for you. Good for them too. And I think it probably helped tens of thousands of kids over the years. And moving forward, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you spoke about that. Can you tell us a little more about that in the early years? I mean, I know the story, and I find it's also so down to earth when you think about how much. Didn't Robert Kiyosaki come into your office basically wearing flip flops and a Hawaiian shirt, and wanted to copyright a game or something? I mean, it just started as pretty much an idea. Hey, let's run with this, and blew up into such an amazing empire.
Yeah, he actually walked into my husband's office. Michael, my husband, is a well-known intellectual property attorney. And he was up in the corner office with the mahogany overlooking the city of Phoenix. And then walks this guy in flip-flops and board shorts and a Hawaiian shirt with a piece of paper rolled under his arm. And it was an idea for the game Cash Flow. And so that was when my husband called me and told me about it. And so I went to the very first beta test, and it was literally just like a crayon drawn on a piece of paper. And the different playing pieces were different caliber bullets, real great at first impression. But at the end of the day, what he was teaching in the board game Cash Flow was what I was teaching, which is the importance of buying, building, or creating assets, income producing assets, because financial freedom comes when the income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses. And that's, I thought people understood that. That's how I was raised. It's innate in my brain, but most people don't understand that. They still think they have to exchange time for money.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I like when you speak too. You say that's one of the sexiest words you've ever heard. Is
assets are sexy. In fact, on May 15th, I'm hosting an event, and the event is called Assets Are Sexy, May 15th.
Yeah, and where is that? In Arizona, or?
Yeah, it'll be an online summit, but I'm bringing in some of the top female entrepreneurs, several of them over $100 million companies. So it's not it's not a personal development. There obviously mindset's a big piece of it, but this is truly a business conference for women to understand things they can do to take their business to the next level.
Excellent. And if you send me the link later, I'll include it in the promotional stuff here. I'd love to do that. So May 15th, everyone, there is a session coming up, a seminar with Sharon. So going forward now with Napoleon Hill, didn't you've done some tremendous work in outwitting the devil? I can remember when I flew, because I fly a lot. I speak on the stages across the country on internet marketing, business solutions. So I was flying to California, and that's like a 5, 6, 7 hour flight coming from Boston. So I downloaded the Outwitting the Devil from YouTube, and just listened to it as I was flying. And I listened to it back. And then I actually listened to it a few days ago too. And you actually have a private Facebook group, or a Facebook group, where people are going to learn about that. But can you tell us more about Outwitting the Devil? And also, wasn't it, Napoleon Hill's wife didn't like the name, and they were worried about how it might play out, being the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So can you give us a little history on that, and, basically what the book's about?
Sure. Well, most of your audience, I'm sure, is aware of the book Think and Grow Rich. I read it when I was 19. So when I got the call from the foundation in 2008, we certainly know what was happening in the economy in 2008, asking me to step in and help reinvigorate the teachings of Napoleon Hill, I was so thrilled. And again, that's when I say, if I had not closed the door to Rich Dad, I wouldn't have gotten that call. So I challenge all of you. Is there a door in your life you need to close? But I had the opportunity then to write 3 Feet from Gold. And the month we released 3 Feet from Gold, I got another call from the foundation saying, we have this manuscript. I'm not quite sure what to do with it. So Think and Grow Rich was released in 1937, but it began in 1908. So we're talking about a lifelong project. And when Napoleon Hill released it, he was frustrated. He said, even though people know what they're supposed to do, they don't do it. Anybody feel busted on that one? Me too. And so in 1938, he sat down, and just in a few short months, he would have used the word downloaded if it existed back then. He felt that this book was brought to him, Outwitting the Devil, and this manuscript. And it was sent to me. I was only the 4th or 5th person ever to read it. And it was, of course, on a on a typewriter, and he had his handwritten notes on it. So I felt like I was actually in conversation with Napoleon Hill. And I read the book, and I just knew it had to come out. It didn't come out in 1938 because his wife was afraid of the title. She worked at the Presbyterian College, and she was afraid she was going to get fired. She forbid it to be published. It got locked away, and he died in 1970. She died in 84, but her sister didn't die until the early 2000s, and that's when it became available to the foundation. And Don Green called me and said, he got a little pushback because the title from the board, but he felt strongly as strongly as I did, that the message needed to get out. And I really felt that it was, when we released it in 2011, I really felt that it was destined for today, from a standpoint of what happened in 2008. But now I really know that it was meant for today, because in the book, he talks about how, he says, you can think I'm talking to the real devil or an imaginary devil. It's up to your choice. Will you derive any benefit from what I share? And it's an interrogation of the devil about how the devil takes over our mind, right? And through negativity, through negative thoughts, through fear. And it talks about 6 different types of fear, right? Fear of poverty, fear of death, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of criticism, right? And how each of those comes from, and he built up from when we're children. And the book is amazing because he takes on every single taboo there is: sex, politics, religion, education, alcohol, cigarettes, all of them. At a time when nobody thought cigarettes were bad for you. He was talking about how his greatest favorite tool was getting kids to 2 packs a day because they knew he could stay with them from there to alcohol to, drifting. And so it's an amazing book. But part of it, why I think it's so amazing today, and you're right, I have a Facebook group called Crushing Fear by Outwitting the Devil, where we're doing a book study for it started this week. So for the next 4 weeks, we're doing a continuing book study where anyone watching is welcome to join us for the rest of it. Because in the book, I'm getting to that page, on page 61, he says, one of my cleverest devices for mind control is fear. I plant the seed of fear in the minds of people. And as those seeds germinate and grow through use, I control the space they occupy. The 6 most effective fears are the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. And then he's asked, well, which are the strongest? He says, the first and the last, poverty and death. At one time or another during life, I tighten my grip on all people through one or both of these. So what are people afraid of today? The virus, death, poverty from what's happening in the world economically. And there's actually a third one, I call it the trifecta, and that's isolation, being alone. All 3 of those. This book, it gives me shivers when I reread it, thinking, wow, it is truly written for today's time.
Wow. And he wrote it many decades ago, correct?
1938. Yep.
That's amazing. That's almost the time of The Wizard of Oz came out.
And in the book, actually, in the actual manuscript, the interrogation of the devil, there's a section where the devil says, I am going to prevent you from publishing this manuscript. And it was locked away for 73 years. It just gives me shivers every time I read it.
Yeah, because, once people, the first thing is making people aware of whatever is holding them back or whatever something is. First, you have to have an awareness, then some level of acceptance, right? So if they could stop people even becoming aware of the contents of this book, it's like creating a bunch of worker bees. You know what I mean? They want people to be in this little spin so they don't come out, because they need people to, be the ant, so to speak. So you've done tremendous work. And is there anything else about this group? I mean, is it too late for somebody to join now?
No, come to the Facebook group, Crushing Fear by Outwitting the Devil. And we will invite you in every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. We do a 1-hour book study. But if you can't be there for that 1 hour, it's obviously recorded within the group. And it's really, truly a mastermind. And when we decide, Lisa Copeland and I do it together. And several years ago, we did a mastermind on the book, and we charged $1,000 for it. But we talked a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I really feel like we need to do something to support people during this trying time. And so we put this out there and offered it. We launched it last week, but the recordings are there. Anybody is welcome to join us. But within just a few days, we have over 1,100 people in the group, and it's growing every day. So yes, I invite everybody to join us, because we need to get through this together and understand that the fear is real. Fear either paralyzes us or motivates us. Yep. And when it paralyzes us, we want to like turn off the lights, get under the covers, and just like act like it's not happening. And that's the tool of the devil. What we want to do is turn that fear into focus and action, so that you can be prepared, because there will be a lot of new opportunities when the world starts opening up again. Yep. And I want everybody to be prepared to seize those opportunities, to profit from them, not be overtaken by them.
I love it. And you're so right. I mean, look at all the money that was made coming out of 2008. There was a lot of money lost too. But if you sit back and you live in that fear, and you just confine yourself to those restrictions, you're limiting your future as well. So right now, even though this situation is kind of mind-boggling, who would have thought that the entire economy of multiple countries would just come to a grinding halt at the same time? You know what I mean? And but coming out of this, some industries will I don't want to say be gone, but they'll certainly be different. Others, new industries will totally come up. And, sometimes you just sit back, and if you can see the opportunities opposed to the limitations, if somebody actually wanted to grow from this, can you give them some, like maybe 3 different ideas or tips how to get through this, and then maybe how to grow from it as well? The first one, and I'm going to give one, and then hopefully you can give us 3. First one is to join your group and listen and learn about outwitting the devil. So that's the first one that I'd like to give people. But if you could give us like 2 or 3, that would be excellent.
Oh, absolutely. In 3 Feet from Goal, we released a personal success equation. So I want to invite everybody. I have a process for you to look at where you are and where you need to be. And you can go to personalsuccessequation.com and download that. And the equation is your passion and your talent. Now, my passion was from anger. We weren't teaching people about money in school, but your passion can be something you love. Your talent, I had my accounting degree and a lot of publishing experience. And most of us stop there because we think we need to do everything on our own. But true success comes from your passion and your talent combined with the right association, right? Like Ronald and I are today. We're associating to support all of you. We're together and we're supporting each other. That power of association. Who's on your team? Who's your mentor? All right. Who are the people that are helping steering you around the pitfalls and speeding your way to success? Who's on your team? You emphasize your strengths, hire your weaknesses, and then times A, taking that action that you know you need to take. And you're more likely to take the action when you have a team than when you're by yourself. And then plus F, which is faith, having that confidence and faith in yourself that what you're doing is needed and necessary. But most of us, that plus F is fear holding us back. That, until this happened, the number one fear in society was that fear of criticism. We were so afraid of looking weird and keeping up with the Joneses. And that got wiped out. I used to always talk about the fear of criticism. Well, now it's what's happening right now. Fear of death, fear of poverty is definitely pervasive. And so you can handle it when you have the right people on your team. So, and we've had a global reset. So now is a perfect opportunity. We've all been given a pass. Now we have the opportunity to redefine our lives without any kind of feedback or criticism from anybody, because everybody's redefining. So now review your life. Go to a personal success equation and I have exercises in there. What works for you? What doesn't? What associations are working for you? Which ones are not? What are the new associations that you need to keep moving in the right direction? what actions, but also having confidence. When you have the right people on your team, when you have a bad day, they step up to the plate. And that's what it's all about, that teamwork. Business is a team sport. The most successful businesses either solve a problem or serve a need. We have a few of those today, and we're going to have a few more. And so defining what you want to do is the time now, so that you're on the front of the wave instead of being capsized by it. Every one of you has the opportunity to create the success that you deserve. If you focus, turn your fear into focus, and go through that success equation. Say, what actions do I need to take right now? How do I redefine my business? I'm doing it with my own. I was on the road 70 to 80% of the time. And I've been home now for 4 or 5 weeks straight. It's like, all right, I don't want to travel that much anymore. So how can I redefine what I do to show up where I need to show up, but also be home more? Every one of us, 2 years ago, I decided that I needed to be more online, because most of my success has been through books and speaking, and I really didn't have a big online courses, that kind of thing. It was primarily old school. And so 2 years ago, I now have online courses. I'm set up and prepared to be able to succeed in this new environment. If you have not had that ability to get online, now is the time to do that. And Ronald can certainly help point you in the right direction there as well with his business. But each of us has the opportunity. I'm still building that. I'm still learning. I have a brand new team that's helping me get more aware and out there. I'm trying to build my Instagram following. So please follow me on Instagram. Follow me on my author Sharon Lechter page. It is possible to teach old dogs new tricks. Right now, as you're redefining what you want, take the time to sharpen your tools. I'm taking time to learn how to be better on Instagram. It's so important that you take this time not to do the day pajamas to the night pajamas or to binge on Netflix. Take this time to really go deep, to work on your business, not in your business, and define what you want it to look like. Because never before in my lifetime have we had a total pass to change anything we want to and not be judged about it. Because right now, everybody's reviewing what they want out of life.
That's amazing. My biggest gratitude, right, is that this is recorded, so I can go back myself and listen to all this as well. I'm so blessed that all our listeners are going to be able to hear those gems as well. And I love how you talk about some people do. I'll see people, I just finished a series on Netflix. So, what's a great series or something? Use this time, even whether you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, especially if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur. But even if you're a W-2 employee, you see right now how quick everything can change. A lot of times people would stay a W-2 employee because it gave them a sense of security. When you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, the definition of entrepreneur is the ability to withstand risk. So it's inherent. But when you're a W-2 and you show up, you do your job, you kind of thought you were safe, right? Now the whole world has changed. So this is a great time to reset. Even if you just spend an hour or two a day, learn a new skill. Do something. And you talked about having programs online. Is there a website or something where somebody can check out your material?
Oh, absolutely. You can go to SharonLechter.com. But I do have a very special program called Money Mastery, and it's normally $1,500. And during this time, I talked to my team and we cut it way down. It was never at $79. It's just the onboarding fee, $79. You can get this $1,500 program. It's like a semester in college, and it's something that will help you create. Take those steps to move your financial life in the right position. But before I give you that link, I want to tell you, I want to emphasize what you just talked about, Ronald, because it's not what you do for your paycheck, it's what you do with your paycheck that counts. Right. And my second book in Rich Dad, and I had this for another interview, is Cash Flow Quadrant. So if I can take a moment, I want to talk to people about, this is the 4 ways people make money. So on the left side of the quadrant is employee, self-employed. All right. That's you exchanging your time for money. So there's only so many days in the week. There's only so many hours in the day. So the amount of money you can make on the left side is finite. But on the right side is business owner and investor. All right. That's other people working for you, systems, investments working for you. Your ability to make money on the right side is infinite. Now, I still make money from all four quadrants. I'm the employee of my own company. I get paid for speaking. I'm multiple businesses that my husband and I own and multiple investments. We make far more money on the right side than the left side. And the people that are being hurt the most right now are the people that only receive their income on the left side, because, even though you were an employee, the world decided to close the door on that paycheck. So did you have enough emergency fund? Now is the time for you to go deep and really say, how can I change my financial position? I need to focus on a bigger emergency fund. I need to focus on moving to the right side, creating economic engines. And that's what I teach. That's what I help people develop: buy, build, or create assets. Assets are sexy. Assets are income producing. You become financially free when the income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses. Those assets are over here on the right side of the quadrant. You are your only asset on the left side. And it's so important. The people that are being hurt the most right now, I really want to reach out to you and support you with this new program, which is, as I said, it's on. You go to my website, it's $1,500. We're offering it for $79 right now.
And if that is, where would they get it right now?
Bit.ly Money Mastery Intro.
Okay, so everybody, Bit.ly, Bit.ly, the shortening code, Bit.ly, and what is it, Sharon?
Money Mastery Intro.
Money Mastery Intro, everybody.
And I think I'm not sure if Angela is watching. If she is, she can also put it into the comments. So
cool. Yep. And that's something I'm going to look over here to see if we have any questions. Excellent. And that is huge. I can remember way back, because it's funny, you were talking about even pre-internet. Most of our listeners, some of them probably don't even remember a time where there was no internet. But I can remember watching Robert Kiyosaki on PBS and doing the cash flow doing the quadrant there.
It was the second book we wrote, Rich Dad's Cash Flow Quadrant. It came out in, 97 was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think end of 98 or 99, we came out with Cash Flow Quadrant. Yeah.
Excellent. Good stuff. And that has helped people too tremendously. Is there anything in closing? I want to be respectful for your time. I'm certainly willing to sit here, for another hour or two, but I understand, you have a schedule. Is there anything you'd like to say to people or recap from what we've already discussed?
Well, I think now is a time for you to design what you want out of life. I also have another Facebook group, not that it is, called the Play Big Movement, because in 2012, I lost my youngest son. So what's happening now doesn't compare to losing a child. We're not supposed to outlive our children. And so I've suffered the greatest loss, and I was numb. I lived my life in neutral for several years. Had a hard time getting through that. Still, of course, I'm still in mourning, but I will never be out of it. But about 3 years ago, I thought maybe I should retire because I wasn't getting the joy. And instead, I got a lot of pushback from family and friends. And I think even from my son, I upstairs heard him say, "Get over it, Mom, there's more for you to do." All of us, no matter what stopped you in your tracks, whether it's right now during this period that we're living in right now, or whether it's been a financial setback, a divorce, a death, a bankruptcy, you're still here for a reason. There's more for you to do. And what you've been through, your struggles, you've survived. And so by doing that, you have a way to help others who may be facing the same situation. When I decided to get back out and play big again, because I'd been, playing big with Disney, Warner Brothers, Time Life. But when this happened to me, I started playing small. So when I decided and made my decision to play big again, amazing opportunities came to me. And so what are you deciding? Are you playing small? Are you willing to play big and help others? And I launched the Play Big Movement. It's also a Facebook group, but I also have a Play Big Movement course that's available online through my website. But I wanted to share the things that I was doing along the way. So I do weekly broadcasts within that group to say, these are the things that I'm doing. And when I made that decision, so many doors started opening to me. I was on the Get Motivated stages. Now I'm on the Time Life movie, the Think and Grow Rich Legacy movie. And then this year being invited to be on the World's Greatest Motivators television show. I made room in my mind for these opportunities. I want to support each of you to make room in your mind to be able to identify those opportunities and seize them to help others. And that's what the Play Big Movement's all about. So please, you can join that group as well. But I would love to support you in getting through that fear. And that's the book study that we're doing on the crushing fear by outwitting the devil. But my goal is to provide you, I'm basically opening my library with a special $79 offer because I have the tools. I know how to support people. I've been mentoring people for many years, and I love it. I love seeing people create great success in their lives. And I've taken what I do for my clients that are thousands of dollars every year and created this program so that people can access it in the comfort of their own home virtually. And it's not a little tiny course. It truly is like a college level course of taking control of your finances, of where you are today, those steps you need to take to become financially stable, and then the steps to get from financial stability to financially free. It's not an overnight success. It truly is. Invest in yourself.
I love it. And that is so huge. Investing in yourself, seek counsel, not advice. And Greg Reed, who wrote that 3 Feet from Gold with you, who was co-op, he was on the show on Wednesday, and he mentioned some of the issues that you mentioned too. But I love the fact how you just talked about, was this your son who perished? Is that the same one who was in college? Okay, I was going to say, well, look at how he as that one person, but it seems like your family with 2 different sons have both propelled you in the tremendous amount of good that has come in the people that you have helped. And I love how you talked about opening up doors and allowing yourself to have more success, seeing it, feeling it, put yourself in, you talk, I think it was NBC and CBS and all these other, Disney. And now you're on the Success Secrets Revealed radio show with a TV show with Ronald Couming. So you're at the pinnacle of success, right?
The pinnacle, yes. But I would like to add, because when I made the decision to get back in and play big again, I initially didn't talk about losing my son because I felt like there was a part of me that was judgmental on myself, saying I didn't want to appear to capitalize on sharing that story, but I wasn't ready. But when I was, and I started actually sharing it, I couldn't believe the number of people that were impacted by it. So, one of the things, and right now, being vulnerable is okay.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable allows others to relate to you. And so now I share it. It doesn't mean my pain is gone. It's definitely very severe. In fact, his birthday is next month. Every step of the way, I'll never be over it. But by sharing it, if I find a way that I can help others see that they are still here for a reason and there's more for there to do, that's the important message.
I love it. And you are definitely, without a doubt, one of the most authentic, sweet, dear, and daring, one of the greatest people I've met. I've been blessed to be on the circuit for about 4 years now, and I've met some incredible people, and you're right at the top of that list. So I want to thank you so much. And plus also thank you for sharing all of this. If you could at some point send me the links and the lists of all the things you'd like to give away. I'll include it in the description here, and promote it all through social media. Everybody, Sharon Lechter is on Instagram. Am I correct?
Yep. Please do. I'm trying to build my Instagram following, so please share it out.
Excellent. Now, you also said your author page, is that on
Facebook, author Sharon Lechter. That's my business page. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I mean, it's tremendous information, and the vast majority of it's free, or it's $79 for, I mean, if you make one deal, if you save 1 month's worth of credit card interest, you've already turned a profit. And not just that, what about the information you'll then be able to share with your kids or loved ones going forward? You know, it's not always about you, although it starts there, the change, and that starts with the individual, but then everybody you come into contact with. So I highly recommend you take advantage in a $1,500 course for $79. That's insane. Sharon, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Ronald, and I appreciate you doing this program, and I congratulate everybody who's watching or listening, because you're taking action, and that's the first step. Sharpen those tools and get ready to work on your business so that you can soar. When the doors start opening back up, be ready to fly.
Yep, I love it. And there's going to be so much opportunity coming out of this. I mean, you know, so look for the opportunity. Don't look for the walls. Look for what you can do, and just create a better life for you and the ones you love, right? And then give back to society. Give back somehow to charity or society. Sharon, I think that's it for today, unless you'd like to say anything in closing.
Oh, I appreciate you very much. You know, on the giving back side, growing up, my dad would ask me each night, "Have you added value to someone's life today, Sharon?" And so he's been gone 14 years, but I still ask myself that every night. And wouldn't the world be a better place if all of us focused on adding value to other people's lives? So go out and do something. Reach out, somebody that you know that's single, that's alone, reach out, because this social distancing does not mean emotional distancing. And yet there's so many people that have been alone for a long time that they're getting depressed, they're getting sad. So brighten somebody's day today by reaching out and giving them a virtual hug.
I love it. A simple phone call, or even if you just start with a little in Facebook messages. Hi, how are you today? Just start the conversation. Sharon, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day, everybody. You've been listening to Sharon Lechter on the Success Secrets Revealed show. Please go out, like her on Instagram, follow her on Facebook, and join the group. Could you tell us the name of your group again, please? The Outwitting the Devil one?
There's two of them. Crushing Fear by Outwitting the Devil. That's the book study on the book Outwitting the Devil. And then the second one is Play Big Movement with Sharon Lechter.
I love it. Thank you so much. Everybody, you have a great day. We'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.